Yo, 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 one, two, three. We ain't even doing an intro. We just jumping right on in. That's how we doing it. We live. We live. There's no intro. And here's why there's no intro. And by the way, how y'all doing? Welcome to the ProQuo Show. I'm down a light bulb. You know what I mean? I'm trying to make this light work. So I hope, get it? I'm trying to make it light work. So the light works. But here's why I'm not doing an intro. The intro is ProQuo music. And because it's on a video, the ProQuo music that's copywritten, sometimes it can get us shut down. Our own music, isn't that crazy? Our own music can get us shut down. So, anyways, I'm just coming to you raw like this in the flesh, saying what's good, Tree. I appreciate you sharing, doing the shares. I had to give you the big banner right there. I saw those shares. I see you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. My son said to me today, he said, "Daddy, you have a mohawk." And I said, "I don't know. Do I really have a mohawk?" And I was like, you know what? Maybe I kind of do have a mohawk. I was going for real high and tight. And people were like, "Yo, you in the military?" And that's what I've been going for. And I'm all right with that. LinkedIn is having an issue. I don't know what it is. We're having trouble streaming to LinkedIn. This may be an issue on LinkedIn's end. We'll try letting you know if it's resolved. Please check LinkedIn to ensure the stream looks okay. All right, good. Thanks for letting us know, StreamYard. So, anyways, let's get rid of that right there. Let's get rid of that giant banner. Yo, my name is Pro. I'm gonna be playing some music. We're gonna be talking some issues. We'll be talking some issues. So I've been on Clubhouse a lot lately, and did a show last night. It was cool. Shout out to UDC. Um, Shout out to my man Calvin. There was some people in the building. It was good to do a live show, see some people, and I threw that on my Instagram. My Instagram is Professor Lyrical if you're looking for it. But anyways, uh, yeah, been really getting in some issues, some heated ones, and Clubhouse has been really kind of doing it to me. You can get in a lot of these rooms, and sometimes the rooms are very much. Let me move over towards this mic. Sometimes the rooms are very much uh, easy speak, like talking about the music industry or whatever. And then there's a lot they get into race, religion, and politics, right? And those are the things that always do it. But it's stimulating conversation if you go into them with an open mind. So I've been trying to be the arbiter of reason in a lot of these rooms, and you'll have people come in, especially in the religion rooms that can go crazy, right? They'll have atheists in there against like diehard evangelists, and I'm trying to find the common ground. So I'm hoping my man Fly can come through. We can have some of that talk too, because we're sensible in our discussions, and there's people in there, they're just butting heads and they're just not listening. As a neutral kind of observer in there, I'm like, you got to kind of listen to what you're saying and which part of it is like evidence that you can prove, right? And what part is not, because they're having a discussion on the truth or the proof for a certain, religion versus another one. And I was like, proof and evidence, those are tricky words, like, is it really, excuse me, is it really proof and evidence if you just have faith? That would be my argument. And, and of course you can say, well, we have faith. That's what makes faith, right? So it's just really kind of interesting. People getting real heated, taking stuff personally, and because of course, if you say I don't believe in what you believe, that sort of feels insulting, right? And you don't necessarily mean any insults by it. So it was cool moderating those rooms. And again, the theme is if you're not on Clubhouse, what are you doing? You got to get on Clubhouse, right? That's what I'm saying. You got to be on Clubhouse. If you're not on Clubhouse, you should take my word for it. There's some really good people there. Shout out to Tommy Jackson. Shout out Tommy Jackson is like a mentor to me. He is I want to talk about him just because every room he's in is just magical. He's he runs a company called First Note Play. They do a lot in film and TV placements and so forth, and he's definitely kind of steering me in the right direction, along with the Angel who we had here last week. Some of you got to see people like that. Shout out to Yvette Vargas, just amazing people on there. Judah Ray, these are like film and TV people that have just been really setting the tone in their rooms for like how to conduct business. And the cool thing is they're really, they're people first. Shout out to for anyone who may have been in the room. There were quite a lot of people in there. Shout out to Lori Ann, who plays incredible piano. She did this amazing piano for me while I freestyled in there the other night. It was just ridiculous the way she was playing. It was like a 10-minute freestyle. I was talking about space and physics and math, getting my geek on. But it was a lot of fun because she kept it real, sort of ethereal with the way she was playing. It sounded like that otherworldly kind of flow. I'm just checking out my streams here, making sure everything is looking good, and because it sometimes is a little tricky, so making sure I got everything the way I need it to be. Let's see. Give me a second here. I'll make sure things are coming through. We got, okay, cool. We on hiphopcitizen.com, looking good over there. If y'all are looking for another place to watch us, that is a great spot. Check us out on the Hip Hop Citizen page. Obviously on my page as well, which I think a lot of you on, which is my Professor Lyrical page, facebook.com/Professor Lyrical. And I'm going to put one in the chat here in a second while I'm getting set up. Over here, another great places to watch. Maybe that's for some of the people that have an issue on all over at LinkedIn. Yeah. Anyways, all right. And so I want to get into some music. We're gonna get into some talking, like I said, about some of those deeper issues. A lot of stuff going on in hip hop. We'll probably jump into that as well too. Rick Ross got another album coming out. Anybody interested in Rick Ross? People checking for Rick Ross. Interested to find out what people are thinking about that. Yo, the Grant Hill 2s. I'm not sure if there's any sneakerheads out there, but the Grant Hill 2s, you need to have those. Those are the definitive Christmas list piece. You don't know what to get for Christmas, and you're a sneaker fiend, and you like the Grant Hill 2s, they have definitely made my Christmas list. They're a little hard to get, too, in a size 12. So they jack the prices up, too. You see like an ad, it'd be like, oh, only like $90. And then all of a sudden it's like 140 or something for size 12. Like, come on, man. Those of us without baby feet, we got to have sneakers, too. So not sure what's on your holiday list, but definitely the Grant Hill 2s are on mine. 25th anniversary, they came out in 96. Speaking of 25th anniversary, it's the 25th anniversary of Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt. Shout out to Ski. My man Fee has got another banger coming out. If you weren't here a couple weeks ago and heard Beast Over Beats, which we'll probably try to run again tonight. It's a great track. He's been getting a lot of good feedback for it too. Pro and Quo are on that. Fee's on that. Detention, Lunar Landing, DJ Myth is on there. Y'all saw Cody Pope if you're watching us last week. The shout out to all them putting it down. But Fee's got another joint coming out that Ski produced. It's me and Fee rocking on. Ruby's on that track. So it's basically the whole XCal crew, the original formula, so to speak. So that's coming out right around the holiday, so look out for that. The cover is hilarious. The song's called Back in the Days, and Fee went with a back in the day cover of when we were first starting out. So it's a picture of us when we had a little interesting fashion going on. Just let's to keep it nice. You know what I'm saying? We had some interesting fashion going on. So that's how I'm gonna leave it. So yeah, I'm gonna get into a couple tracks. I'm feeling a little bit better about my Celtics. For all my Celtic fans out there, I'm feeling a little bit better. I think they're running tonight at 10 o'clock, so we may have to shut the show down on time, not early, on time. The 10 o'clock that we never shut down for. So I'm going to run a couple of my own things here. I'm going to run a couple of my own joints from Busy back in the day instead of anything new. Play a lot of new stuff and stuff that's not out yet. I'm going to run for you... let's see. I'm going to run for you. What track am I going to play? I think I'm going to play from... it's decisions. What am I going to play? I'm going to play an XCal joint. We're going to play Brand Name Woman by XCal. Me, Fee, and Ruby. So we're going to get that up. We're going to go for it right here. I'm going to share. I'm going to play it straight from my SoundCloud page. Those of you not familiar with Excalibur, here we go. We're going to get into it. And if you're looking for my SoundCloud page, it's soundcloud.com/Professor Lyrical. Lots of tracks on there. We're going to run right here. We're going to run Brand Name Woman. Right off the vinyl. This is one I realized wasn't posted for a long time, so I recently posted it up. Check it out.
So here we go.
All the ladies thinking I'm talking about the freshest type new Mercedes spinning with my new 680 EL SL 1200 MK2. She thinking the series going up but doesn't know it's just the tools of the cut, Katascan, Fostex, all the original boxes, rack mount reverb and effects, lexicon, vortex, and sonic EPS and ASRs, MPCs with SPs, the Digitech basing guitars, Yamahas. She thinks I got a bike but doesn't like my Bose 501 series cause now she knows it ain't a 5.0. She wants to steer the Pioneer but had no idea my 53 inches before her eyes and ears. Yeah, Mackie board 1604 3/8 that's got 8 tracks that makes up 24 for sure. Lord Claw taking no shorts on the equipment. That's why I'm always pulling all these brand name women. What?
It's the brand name. It's the brand name. So here we go. It's the brand name. It's the brand name. It's the brand name. So here we go.
Visual fantasy, Netscape reality, cyber sex, stimulate, penetrate digitally. Rougher, harder, faster, bees, raw rhythm riders transmit STDs. Sure as SNMP will repeat protector. Word born, but tore the nylon and still been infected. Lovely, junkie traits, 24 tracks laced. Baby banging more bass than rolling TR-808. She penetrates eardrums like jazz, making Mackies relapse and board heads react. Hey there. Japanese stripper, one zipper dress catching my eye, like Tony looking high, said her name was Akai. Oh my, so fly, like butter, skin tone tuned like a drummer. No wonder, no other Mackie penetrates her dogs, cause Fee's disc is hard drive, and there's a Microsoft.
It's the brand name. It's the brand name. So here we go. It's the brand name. It's the brand name. It's the brand name. So here we go.
We was buttered from the start and she left no doubt. Unrehearsed verse, still knocked it on out. Only one take, technique was pretentious. Surprised her eyes, mesmerized by my 12 inches. Needles diamond cut, but she couldn't understand. The rock was meant for 12s, not a hand. Damn, the Geminis reflected the Gemini eyes. For the record, I turned her on and made her pitch right. She had a short head on her shoulders with no strings attached. Yo, I get all up in that grill and make the lips contact. Yo, I knew how to turn her on. I did it all with my hands. And people screaming, who at her? But deep down, they're all fans. Never compress her or limit her when she speaks the words of wisdom. Components tightly stacked in a boom and rack system. She give me feedback when the sound ain't right. Who needs a brand name woman? God, I'm rocking the mic. Come on.
It's the brand name. It's the brand name. So here we go. It's the brand name. It's the brand name. It's the brand name. So here we go.
Brand name. It's the brand name. Brand name.
Yeah, yeah. Brand name. Oh, you doing me? Shout out to Def Rock, Via Shabazz, X-Cal. Yeah. Yes. Play a little X-Cal right there. And, a lot of people would not know this. It's a little trivia for you. The voice at the end of the track that sounded like a different little voice. If you heard him going, brand name. It's my man, L&P. Shout out to L&P. We're going to run Bout Time right now off my Infinity album. It was a down the line posse cut, much like Fee's track. This one features Rue Russ and L&P from Cambridge, along with my man, Sick Man. Y'all know Sick Man from Invasion, and my man Presence, and myself rocking out on this track. Yeah, we go to town on About Time, so check out About Time.
Scratchism. Yeah.
Nelly Pro Tools.
Invasion. Yeah. Hey yo, one for the trouble. I double in your sector. The Reptor set it on some cum dung selector. The next grab my squad and invade your crew with that sick lyrical presence. Y'all gon' be like Hebrew. I done told you. My slang blues like Lang Hughes without the twinkle. Lane flamin' they rain be like May Sprinkle. Blinking it'll clear out your eye pink for not spill. For observing you bill. See what I'm saying? I rock too well and too hell. Fuckers catching express when I let it off my chest like two breaths after I bust. Call me Rezzy's do when the Rezzy's do. Check the credentials. But your eye won't see teeth missing from the clean. You steps ahead of your team when the spoken word. Boss that to the scene. Conceptual dreams and many get the bird. Word on the street is them niggas got to eat. So fuck it when you say cut it. I'm like done when I'm done. You do when I'm through. Ill and eat dog like you. I'm forced to. You left me no choice, but I'm still pro. Click I told. Watch me grab that technique you lust for. What the fuck for? Your ass got exposed and now you need me in your pores to fill it up.
Sam Jack of rap, shaft, course it hits. I'm a star. Make me wanna force the whip. Grinding like you're on a tour with clips. Course it's rip, spit, pour and sip. Hit a reverb, I spit it again. Kick it again for those who can't comprehend. Dealing with me, you're better off slashing your tongue. Leave you blacker than a smoker's lung. Trying to get ass from a nun. Tis the season that I snatch like crumb. Woke up this morning, got myself a gun. Now my shit's hits harder than a shack miss. More harder than trying to get out fastest. Flows on the overkill. Start jipping more shit than George Foreman's grip. Course it's real. Cambridge, courts for dip. Press lyrical, Rue Russ, course it's ill.
Frightening foes, the writer with the nicest flow. Let the guard get on the track, breathe life to your nose. Yo, I strike a rib like a knife to your bones. You clap on the track, you cowards just striking your hoes. Striking a pose, you'll take a bell's lighting the toes. Got your pretty women bending over, biting the rose. Yo, I'm like Chiz, how I hype your show. Making nod your head, yes, like Heist and Joe. Yo, I wet locals like vocals with the reverb. To rush your crew in reverse, like Rue without the C-verse. Move till your feet hurts, floors till your teeth hurts. Your cat looking both ways like Killer Pete t-shirts. Spit a reverse to stick in your head. I'm iller than Pete, my present tense sicker than dread. Spit till I'm dead, slumlord, fill you with lead. Bring the dart upon your knot and Pakistani in red.
Hey yo, with Presence here, I'm just a rookie trying to holler. I can smell the fear. Look, you ain't pussy on your collar scared. Cause you ain't prepared for 12 rounds. Once the bell sounds, your ice water begins to melt down. Give me my belt now, for ladies not promised. Weighing on my conscience, did you haters on this nonsense? Save your comments, invasion is the bomb shit. Ladies on my Johnson, I'm blazing them like tonic. Stay on some Don shit, fuck being modest. Like, come on kid, ask yourself, who really wants this? That's what I thought, yo, you know I brought the hot flow. Ross clock, nigga, slap fire on your ass hole. Piece the pat, though, my niggas on the high rise. Fellas grab a hold, sexy mama shake your tatas. Joe in La Casa, you was in a pasta. Fake wanna be wank the pussy ass monster.
You're in the presence of some lyrical sick men who dominate lines with great lines and quick pens. Average more rhymes in a night than TV killings. Your analysis tainted, so my PB illin'. Rue Valentino, Moy Ma when he flow. Greater than most, less than none with no equal. Just the X factor in the unknown equation. Bootstrap, who taps your brain dome invasion. Unlock the dread and release the mental prisoners. Bring forth the lyric and instrumental listeners. Got the plates bouncing on some Mr. Rue Russell shit. So tight and make your skin jump like a muscle twitch. Flow like love from the heart. For the love of it, take it from the top. If you haven't had enough of it, keep the first line of the rock. Repeat again, you in the presence of some lyrical sick men. Comprehend?
Yo. That's my man Rue Rush right there, holding it down on the end. Shout out to Rue Rush. Shout out to Cambridge. That was definitely very Cambridge. I was living in Cambridge with Sick Men and Presence at the time. Rue Rush and LMP both from there. So that was definitely the Cambridge Mass joint. So shout out to them. We took it all the way to Switzerland. We kind of created this with me and Nelly Pro Tools created this in the lab. This was, we were pretending we were doing a show in Switzerland. And I was adverse to flying then. So even though we were having offers to play in Europe, I wasn't trying to do any of them. So I said, let's hypothetically make one. So it was me and Sick Men on the rhyme. You got to check this out. Sick with the Lyrical. This is one of my most slept on joints probably ever because it's so deep in the Infinity album and it's kind of like a long skit. So, but it's a real song. So check it out. Sick with the Lyrical.
Lyrical presence of Sick Men. Give a shout out to Switzerland.
When I say sick, y'all say lyrical. Sick,
Lyrical.
sick.
Lyrical. When I say lyrical, y'all say sick. Lyrical. Sick. Lyrical. Sick.
Yeah, Switzerland, that's what's up. Invasion would like to thank you for having us all the way from Boston. Yo. A true Capricorn, my life's a decathlon. Running laps every track that I'm rapping on. Longevity songs, they form remedies. I love my enemies, they keep me full of energy. So close to me, bread spent on groceries. I find the toast in the host of where it's supposed to be. Folks notice me flow so unemotionally, but deep down praying for my foes holding rosaries. Cause how it's supposed to be, the game is not. In fact, the wrong blocks cooking cannon to rock. The flames are hot, scope where I'm aiming the dot. Instead of loving my neighbor, son, I'm claiming your pop's invasion is not your typical, too hypocritical, crew of individuals. Sick with the lyrical, stick with the spiritual. Nah, we blow physical. Best of both worlds, R. Kelly can get the genitals. I say sick, y'all say lyrical. Sick, sick. When I say lyrical, y'all say sick. Lyrical, lyrical. Yeah, Switzerland. Peace, y'all. We love you. What? Invasion. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for invasion.
Good luck, yo.
If you want to have invasion.
You see the killers up front?
Yeah, man, that's you.
How come I'm on stage and my girl's blowing my phone up, man?
You gotta chill with that.
Yo, she's
good,
doing
man?
it. Yo, she did it like the last time when we went to the game, yo.
Like, we don't got that.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God, yo.
we
I'm
straight,
gonna take that. I'm gonna take this one and put this one in reverse. We're gonna do this one tomorrow, yo.
Nah, dog. Do it now. Do
Yeah.
it for the encore. Turn on the mic.
Oh, no doubt, yo. Yeah. Why the headaches add up again? Double on a Gemini twin. Relationships on the rocks like gin. Almost gone with the wind. Spend too much time on the negative thoughts. Taking shots, I'm out. Maintain the paint like I'm boxing them out. Critics respond to the future like they're reading a palm. It's been too long. This one's a charm. This time you're wrong. This one's the bomb. Thoughts more irritating than 5-car alarms. Lyrically with it, first to admit it. All dudes can suck it. Bitch dykes can lick it, yo. Spit the germ, pass it on like batons. With more coverage than Diddy in his marathon. I wrote to die, still freaking going on. I rode with Lance, he told me sick, live strong. Made the song, now I'm making the switch. Only 98 problems, I'm subtracting a bitch. Yo, make some noise, we're trying to get lyrical back out here. Switzerland, make some noise. Yo, trying to come back out?
Yeah,
Hot
man.
now.
Just give me a minute, though. I just want to check this message, man. I know it's her again calling me. She was talking on the marriage stuff before and all lovey-dovey. I get home sometimes and she's wilding, thinking that I'm
I know you're
the
busy
shorties out
working,
here, man. Like, I ain't got
but
better
I wish you could help me right now. I get too lonely. I can't wait to see you again, so when you have a chance, call me. I miss you, baby.
Switzerland, make some noise! Yo! I had a run-in with this woman I was loving. She was kissing and hugging, wishing that I was her husband, but I wasn't feeling that, really wasn't needing that. Reading that Dear Abby crap, right, a reader's back. It read Peter's back, fresh from the road again. Well, I was noticing new numbers in his Rolodex. I knew something that was gleaming from his Rolex, and 2 pairs of 20-somethings from the bottom when he rolled up in. I think I told her then, love it's all showbiz. I was like, no whiz, I ain't got no kids. No groupie lover, others on the side. And you ain't in no hoopty love, excuse me, what you ride? Something verbally, pimped out certainly. Limited edition for your first anniversary. Eating brunch on a Sunday, it occurs to me she packing all her stuff and going back to university. Woo. Switzerland, baby, we love you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yo,
Switzerland's nuts, dog.
we killed it, dog.
No doubt.
Yo. Oh, wait. You gotta hear something, though. Yo,
What the
listen
message?
to this.
Next message. It just hurts that you never, a lot of things hurt actually. You never understand the point that I'm trying to make. You always think that you're right and find a way to brush off all that you do. The point that I was trying to make was that you don't share anything with me. Not like I want to know where you're at 24/7. But when things like this happen, and other people tell me that they saw you at places, it's like, gee, what else is he hiding from me? What else does he do that I don't know about? And it's not so
Crazy
much
part
that
is this was
I
a
wanna
real
be in your
message.
business, Derek, but when you're in a relationship with someone, you know, it would be nice to know where they're at. I know that you're at work during the day, do I know what you do besides that? Absolutely not. But does everybody else know what Thurman is doing? Of course they do. Lisette knew that Fritz went to the game. Ileana knew that Jason was at the game. Shelly knew that Pete was at the game. Did I know that you were at the game? No. Of course not. Because you feel that, you're grown. You can just do what you want. And it's not like I try to tie you down and, restrain you from, or refrain you from doing things, but the only thing that I expect is for you to be open with me, to share things with me, not only when it's convenient for you, but maybe because it should be part of what makes a relationship. But you'll never understand that, I guess. There's nothing that I do that I keep from you that you don't know about. Because my stuff is just routine. You know how you are. You like to do a little bit of everything whenever you feel like it. And like I said, I'm never, ever trying to keep that from you. Because you're you and I'm me. But on the same token, there were a lot of good qualities that brought us together. Communication and sharing was, two of them. And now it's just like it's gone. Crying all by myself.
Yo. Now, I was going to come back up and I was going to talk. Shout out to Legendary. Shout out to Epi. Trina holding it down. Peace. That track, I made that track for that Infinity album. And that was like a skit that was like a real song. You know what I mean? And that was a real message. My man Sickman's lady, shout out to her too. She knows who she is. That she had left on there. And she was really kind of going off, and that was kind of what the song was about. We were trying to like tell our ladies at the time that we ain't out like running around with these chicks or whatever. We're trying to do these shows, and that's all we were focused on. And so the whole thing was kind of like a hyper kind of inflated joint around that idea that we're just out there trying to do music, which has always been kind of my main thing. Man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Abby. So, one thing I was talking about before that Fly and I, if Fly can get in tonight, we're going to try about it. This is, by the way, this is the 1 year, this is the show after the 1 year anniversary. So we decided to keep it real chill. My son told me that I needed to not do the show tonight, but luckily he fell asleep 5 minutes before the show. So I didn't have to worry about that. But we did say we were going to try to do it chill. And we got a lot of stuff coming up that we're trying to bring. And actually some bigger, when I say bigger, like more well-known guests that we're going to start bringing through for the first year. We just try to keep it all people that we knew, and trying to get a few people out there that I think you guys may appreciate to hear from. Here's some interesting topics. But one of the topics I was talking about earlier, other than just playing our music, and let me stop this screen here. Let me get that off. I got the giant comments on it tonight. One of the things I was talking about earlier was this. If you're not on Clubhouse, and by the way, I said I was going to play the next joint. I heard the next joint come in. That was on my, let me show y'all what it is. This joint right here, I promise you, if you have not heard it, The Renaissance by Excalibur. It was a hidden track. Let me tell you a funny story about that. I got two things I'm trying to do. So I got two halves of my brain here trying to tell you. One is about that music, but the other is about, we're talking about religion, faith, atheism, agnosticism, right? That's hard to say. I know I said it wrong. And on these discussions that are popping up on Clubhouse. So on Clubhouse, you can get in there and you can talk about movies, publishing. Shout out to my man Low. Shout out to my man Sin. Just amazing stuff you can learn about how to publish a record, how to do your royalties correctly, how to make sure all your streams of revenue are coming through, and then really what to focus on. You can hear advice from people in the industry that are on Clubhouse all day. So if you're not on there and you're about your music, you're about your business, any business really, there's all kinds of stuff on there, motivational people, speakers, and there's people hustling, trying to make their paper or whatever too. But there's a lot of good stuff on there, but there's these debates, and I always get pulled into them. And I get pulled into them without people knowing my own background. So but I'm pretty neutral. I stay pretty Switzerland, pun intended, on a lot of the stuff. Like, I'm not trying to insult anybody or anything like that. But once in a while, you can get heated if someone comes at you the wrong way, of course. But I worked in Funny story, and shout out if they happen to be watching. Shout out to McDonald's. I worked in a funeral home for 4 years, all through college. I worked in a funeral home. Answered a job. Some of y'all who've watched consistently may have heard this story. I answered a job in the paper when I was 17, and it was like, we're looking for an office worker who wants to basically get paid. It sounded like those phishing kind of scams, like want to get paid to make like $100 an hour and never have to leave your house. Well, yeah, it was like that when I was 17. It wasn't $100 an hour, but it was decent money, right? And all you had to do was answer the phone. When the phone rang, they would stock the refrigerator for you, okay? And you, in other words, you picked what you wanted from like the grocery store, and it was like this. It actually is a lot like where I'm in right now. It's probably like a 25 by 10 room, right? And you answered phones there. And there were first calls, though. There were first calls for when people passed away. And, you know, someone lost a loved one. I had to answer that phone. And this was still in the end of the, like, this is like walkie-talkies and pagers and cell phones all at the same time when we weren't sure which direction they were going, right? It was like that Motorola age. And I used to have to hit up the funeral directors when I got a call, and they trained me to say, doesn't sound like a problem, right? Like, because for me, it wasn't a problem. I wasn't lying. It was like, didn't sound like a problem. And little by little, I kind of learned their business. And John, shout out to him too. He's still on social media all the time. I think he does a live stream show himself in Lowell. He does some stuff with the Rotary Club, and he's always been into it like that. So I learned a lot of business stuff from him. And they were, when my downtime when I wasn't doing my homework was I was writing rhymes, right? So I'd write rhymes, but you can't write rhymes every single day for like 5 hours straight. I worked there 6 hours, 6 hours, 3 days a week. And sometimes I worked like a weekend here and there if they needed help, right? So say like 20 hours on average a week, of which probably 3 of them were homework and like 10 of them were writing rhymes for 4 years. So I came out of that job, and I had already had records out before that, right? So I had a record out right around that time. And then I started making more, right? We had an album and stuff like that. And so at that time, I had more rhymes than anybody I ever met. Because think about that. I was paid for 4 years to write essentially like 10 hours a week. And I was typing them joints out, putting them in the printer, organizing. I should show people my lyrical Burgundy Bible. And that's what I'm getting into. So the lyrical Burgundy Bible, as I called it, was Bible. I called it my Bible. Now at the time, it was a Christian, funeral home, Catholic, right? They were Irish Catholic, but they had all denominations come there. It was in Lowell. So you'd have Cambodian funerals. You'd have, Puerto Rican, Dominican funerals. You would have a lot of monks would come through, right? They would do the funeral there too. So the Cambodian population, different Asian subgroups were there, Vietnamese as well, right? So there were a lot of different cultures that would come through there. And I started reading all these different books on comparative world religion. And I got super into it because now I'm also in college and I got my philosophy classes. I had a class called Theory of Knowledge that was a graduate level. I got the permission to take that after I took the intro to philosophy, which I loved. I got to take that. And I had enough classes actually when I was done to minor in to have the philosophy minor, but they wouldn't let you double minor. Like I already had another minor. I was doing the dual major minors, and they were like, no, you got to chill. So it was basically 6 classes that I had. And the Theory of Knowledge class, I had to get permission again. And it was so deep, so dope. It kind of set the groundwork for a lot of the ways that I think. And it led the bedrock into sort of logic, sort of the logical underpinnings of a lot of the stuff that's in math, right? And taking economics classes at the same time and still trying to figure out how to market my music. I was a marketing major too, right? Trying to figure all that out. And then I'm learning on the job with John. So you get the story, but I'm reading all these books on comparative world religion, right? And so I just started being very open to other ideas that people had that I didn't even really know that they had until that time. So Clubhouse, all kinds of these topics are popping off, and people get, quite honestly, very disrespectful with each other because you have this way of thinking and you're like, it's my way is right. And I'll use the metaphor in there all the time, just like I thought this song was dope like 5 years ago, and I listened to it again. I'm like, not so much, right? But this next song I'm going to play for you, I stand by. It's the dopest song I've ever been a part of. So shout out to Fee and Rubia. It's the same formula as Brand Name Woman. It's called The Renaissance. Crazy story. I got arrested the night that we recorded it. So driving home from the studio, we lived less than a quarter of a mile from where we were. The only reason we were driving is we wanted to hear it in the car system when we were done, right? And I got arrested. One thing led to another. And it was like my job at the time was enterprise rent-a-car. And I knew I didn't want to do that. I wanted to figure out a way to get my graduate degree and to, I already had a bachelor's degree. I was doing this job that we literally took, and it's 25th anniversary Jay-Z's album, like we're talking about with the Back in the Day song. That was right around the same time. It was a little bit past that. It was a little bit at the same time, and we were just trying to go back and forth to Ski's crib in New York City. To just my scam was I was going to work for Enterprise to get cars to go to New York. It wasn't a scam. I told the president of the company that when they hired me, that was what I was intending to do, right? So that was my hustle. And this song that we wrote was the accumulation of all those books we had read, and Fee and I doing basically like a book report in our apartment in Mass Mills in Lowell, Mass, that we got intentionally to be inspired to write these rhymes. So we made the song called The Renaissance, and we made another song called One Life. And we made them right after we made Butter Messenger and Brand Name Woman, the two singles that are on the walls behind me somewhere, one of them that you just heard, that were all over the radio, right? But we never put these songs out because so much changed for me after that night. The night literally that we made the song. So I get arrested, right? Stop working for that company because your driving record is important too. So I had to plan to move out of that career. It was finally the excuse for me. It turned into be like a golden parachute out of the company. Company was real cool with it as well. And I had kind of hidden some people's accidents that they had that worked with me that were car preps who really needed the job, quite honestly, more than I did. And I was like hiding it for them, and I took the hit for one of them. So on my record, it appeared that I had like 3 moving violations. When you counted that one, I got pulled over while driving a car, and it was technically a moving violation too, that I was driving without a license, basically. And so brilliant. But at the time, this was really pivotal. And plus, we were going through transition. I was going through different girlfriend relationship stuff, life changes, right? And Fee and Ruby started dating. And, I moved out of my together apartment, moved down a couple floors with another girl I was dating at the time. And Syntax was ready to move out. So it was kind of like XCal was kind of coming to an ending, sort of, and then Fee started up with One Love. I moved to Cambridge, got in with Invasion, started doing that stuff and doing some solo stuff and then Invasion stuff or whatever. So this song is the book report that Fee and I basically did. We'd sit up there and we'd read everything about, really geeky, really in a way, but we'd read everything about the book Excalibur, Lancelot. And one of the book was called Looking for Arthur, like King Arthur. And the other one was called On a Quest for Merlin. And we're reading like books on the Kabbalah and sacred text, and we're reading history books and almanacs and trying to put all that into one song that kind of had this worldly view, right? So I'm going to run that for you right now. Real interested in what y'all feel on that. Appreciate the comments. I wanted to say it in full. I was going to send the clip to Fee if you weren't watching, but I saw you chimed in, so I wanted to give him the full. And as the precursor to when Back in the Days comes out, because that's how we really started it out. So here is The Renaissance, which I stand by as the best song I've ever been a part of. Even with the lack of, pristine audio kind of equipment that we have these days, we were recording the DAT at that time, and it's pretty dope. So check it out. If you haven't heard it, rock with it. Rock with it, baby. Let's try this. Let's go over to here and right there. The Renaissance, XCal.
On a quest for Merlin, trying to overstand this whirlwind. L-I-F-E, the world keeps turning, burning seeds to smoke. The necromancer, Philly fat sticks till my lungs obtain cancer.
Looking for author, dragon of the pen, I be the author. Don't have to wear a collar around my neck to be a scholar. In the Bible I delve, I see disciples of 12. Like Grail Knights from Camelot, I Lancelot among myself.
Lancelot with Lord, to vocally callous the palace of Excalibur. No absence of malice, just bloodstained streets and cobblestones. Camelot low oh well, broken down home.
Looking for knowledge in esoteric schools, my finding colleges, digging like archaeologists through layers of my consciousness, held through the ages by the wizards and the sages, through the pages of the almanacs of farmers and astrologers.
Travel we like years from spot to spot. Life is a journey, trying to connect the dots. Arrive at a forest, trees burning. The round table keeps turning, 360 like Merlin. Messenger come to the beat of the drum. Oh, to new ones of you, sure you can get some scripture elixir. You can lick or swallow, but tomorrow you'll be sleeping in your hollow.
Toss my lyrics in a bottle, translate them like Aristotle for the people of tomorrow to follow for future models.
12 apostles, disciples, nights for all the months. Just remember in December, expect the Renaissance.
Behold, Excalibur, forged when the world was young, and death was Speak the word.
A higher calling, sure as the world itself's revolving, evolving like Charles Darwin, solving a koala, taking you farther. Poetical Vasco da Gama, at first it seems ridiculous, like Nicholas Copernicus, but then it's on. Here it comes, the Renaissance, shaping your mind like Plato all the way to Immanuel Kant. Once in future, Luther, Martin Luther, Lord, Lord, nailing metaphorical scriptures upon your search door.
Take size for a soul, then shatter the glass. So every man has a soul, respect that. Mockingbirds don't sing till the ones of future brings poetry. The author rains down like kings.
Now the lady of the lake is the lady of the evening.
Times change, rearrange the four seasons. Cycles, cycles, life goes in cycles. Us spirits in the material world, like ghosts.
What matters is dark, like quarks started the sparks. I walk across the universe and search like Lewis and Clark and start the Renaissance. All the prophets predict the greatest rebirth. Unstagables drop slick.
Hit 'em off.
Like Newton's gravitation, with the world participation, I'ma keep my records like the earth in constant rotation. Standing ovation, rocking crowds of different nations. The 12 scales of art broken down for creation, from procreation to the final confrontation. We'll be present at the funeral of your back and ways of thinking. The Renaissance,
Seance among souls.
call us the alchemists, turning black wax to gold.
What? What just happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, what really just happened? Nah, Fee, I gotta take that up one level. You said that. Let me read your quote. You said, "Hey, Renaissance, pure Rochelle, turn a black wax to gold." Definitely one of my favorite songs that we did. Nah, that's my favorite song that I've ever been a part of, right there. But that is that's crazy. That song is magic. I still remember Ruby driving in the car, going, "Yo, why don't we sing some like, whoa, right? It'll be soap." And you were like, "You're gonna sing?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll sing with you. You do the opera part, the high, and I'll do the low. It'll be perfect, right?" But yeah, it's crazy. It's just a crazy track. Every time I hear that, it's like it just transposes you. Is that the right word? Transfixes you. I'm down a light right here, so I'm liking the ambiance. You know, Fee and I would always turn the lights off when we record. I'm liking the ambiance. You know what I mean? It's like kind of shadowy. Speaking of shadowy, when I sent through the thing tonight for the ProQuo Show, I gotta tell Tree. I don't know if Tree is still Tree. You still out there? Because I got something to tell you. If you're there, I'm gonna tell you. If not, I'm gonna hold it to myself. I'm gonna keep the secret knowledge to myself. So, all right, you're still there. So Tree, I gotta make sure you're still really there, right? That was okay. That was a minute ago. For a dad, it sounds good, right? Yeah, especially because dads have sound and level issues. Yeah, definitely. That was like when you just had to mix it right and get it right, you know, kind of to save years off your life. All right, so Tree, the picture that you were asking about that I put on my page a long time ago, let me show you over here on my Facebook. Let me go over to my actual Facebook page. Let's see what we can do here. Let's go to a share. I'm wondering if you figured it out. So I mean, this isn't super suspenseful, but I'm going to tell you anyway. That picture right there, which is the theme on my picture. Anyone know what that is? Anyone want to take one last guess? I think I Tree put movie at the end. We're going back and forth on what that is. She's like, could it be a movie? Could it be a movie? Any takers? Any last takers? Anyone know what that is? I don't know what kind of prize it's worth if you were to get that right. That is, I froze the camera on the opening shot of the new Matrix. So that's what that is. So yes, you were right. It is a movie. Indirectly, it's a movie. Why are my comment things showing up? Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know how I did that. That's pretty cool. Oh, I know why. Because it's over here on my actual page. Yeah. So, anyways, that is that's that, right? So that's the opening scene of The Matrix. The Matrix comes out December 22nd. It could be, I'm arguing, it could be the most epic month for movies in quite a long time. Because you got Spider-Man. I just bought my tickets today. Me and my son picked out where we're going to sit to see Spider-Man. Spider-Man Part 4, No Way Home, comes out the 17th, really the 16th. You can see it the day before. Yeah, so Tree, you were on the right track there after we took some guesses. Yeah, that's the beginning of The Matrix, right? So ill. They got the little cul-de-sac in the city right there. If y'all ain't buying tickets for The Matrix right now, I don't know what you're doing. Now, if y'all ain't up on, I'm not sure if you are on NFTs or not, but for those of y'all who understand what NFTs are or have heard about them, cool. Oh yeah, I'm real hype about that. Like, oh my gosh, come on now. Could be. I mean, to me, The Matrix is the best movie of all time. So I mean, there's a serious chance that Part 4 could be really dope. Now they could also screw it up. Of course, I understand that, but at the same time, it has possibility to be one of the greatest movies that we've seen in a long time too. Especially with the technology of what they can do now. So, you got Spider-Man coming out just a few days before. You get that movie. There's a whole host of movies that are coming out in December. I mean, you got West Side Story. You got, there's a lot of stuff that comes out in a few days, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Actually, it's not just the tip of the iceberg. That's actually some of the actual iceberg right there, but that's crazy. So these are the kind of things, the topics that we were talking about in that song, in the Renaissance too. Those are some of the things that people will talk about in Clubhouse. Clubhouse can have 80 different rooms at the same time. You just hop into the ones. You follow the people that you follow. You watch where they go, and I jump into a lot of the rooms that they go into, and it's just led to some amazing stuff. I can't even keep up with all the opportunities that are on there, and it's definitely relationship building and really dope. So NFTs are bad for the environment. They definitely are. So, well, I shouldn't say they definitely are. Let's put it this way: that if you are thinking about harvesting coins, if that's where you're going, you're talking about cryptocurrency, then yes, the energy that it takes is extremely not healthy for the universe, right? Just to come up with these. So, and NFTs and crypto being intimately linked, the whole idea with NFTs and the metaverse and crypto is to sort of mesh those together, sort of the Web 3.0, if you will. We're kind of in Web 2.5 right now, where you can actually go onto a lot of these crypto boards, kind of see what's coming. And, if you have an NFT, the right to go into a certain room, I'm not talking about Clubhouse now, I'm just talking about boards that exist right now where the metaverse is starting to creep into existence slowly, that you have the NFT and that's your access to get into the room, and only the people that have the NFTs will be able to get in. So the Matrix NFT broke down the internet. Basically, they sold out crazy. It was selling for $50. You get an NFT, it basically takes your body and it's kind of the standard pose, and a lot of people went out and they got one, and it's a risk. We don't, just much like crypto, you don't really know. You could make a $50 investment in something that won't do anything, but if you're like me and you're a big Matrix fan and you were in line, it makes some sense that you go out and get one, right? So the metaverse is growing every single day. For those of you who have kids like mine who play Roblox, you're probably well aware that games like Roblox essentially have the fundamentals of what the metaverse would be. Essentially, you're walking through with an avatar, and my son wants to try to buy stuff all the time when they're like, "Daddy, I got to get like a flying dragon behind him to walk around and kind of show the other cool kids who play the game, like, look what I got a flying dragon," and different, things that you can collectively have, and then you can purchase things with the money that's on there, and it has its own currency, and it's essentially a currency, much like a cryptocurrency wallet would be used in the metaverse too. So let's imagine that we're all on Meta, which we won't have to imagine too soon. When our avatar is doing kind of all the interacting, you may want that avatar to look a certain way, to have all the fly new virtual kind of stuff, and then use that virtual currency that can be extracted, in and outside of the metaverse, and it's kind of blending these worlds. So good or bad, the movie The Matrix is coming out, so The Matrix doing an NFT is pretty funny, right? For the metaverse, really coming out with their own NFT. It's very meta. It's very Avatar-ish, and you can kind of take your own spin on it and put yourself into the Avatar kind of deal. Yeah, Player One, Ready Player One. I know what you're talking about. Talking about that. My daughter, what we got here? My daughter, she's threatening to screenshot them, right? Are you two doing NFTs or something? Oh, you mean me and Quo? We talk about it. I mean, we talk about it. Quite honestly, he's a little bit more in that lane than me. I'm kind of like, I don't like losing money. So I don't have, like, I'm not motivated by large quantities of money. I'm motivated by living comfortably. When I want to live comfortably so I can do everything that I do and have more time to do it. So it's like, I'm not hurting or anything like that, but it's like, we could all use more money. We could all use more freedom and more time off. But the NFT, like, it's very much like playing the lottery, right? You can think you're making an investment, but a lot of people that are making those investments are down on their last few dollars sometimes, whether it's crypto or whether it's NFT. And, because you're a new artist or whatever, and you have a lane, it's very difficult to decide whether or not, you're going to get the same kind of bang for your buck with crypto, with making an NFT than somebody else would. And there are people who are relatively unknown that are doing okay with NFTs, but for the most part, if you can't afford to make like 10,000, items of something, and you're barely scraping up, one piece of artwork to put out there, and you're trying to compete against people who have that kind of level, it's going to get increasingly difficult, like anything else. So it's one of those kind of lanes that might be difficult for people to turn that revenue that they're hearing about a lot from other people. And it's that FOMO, basically fear of missing out, right? Everybody wants to get in on it. So I don't know if I need to invest $1,000 to hopefully make 20. I'd rather keep my $1,000. Call me conservative with my money in that way. But I might grab a couple things, so we'll have to see. Now you get on Clubhouse and you get the lawyers in there, and they'll start talking. They're like, "We cannot give you legal advice one way or the other." I'm like, "Well, what use are you?" I understand. I'll get in the room and I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm a mathematician." They'll be like, "Oh, can you give me some math advice?" Sure, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was actually just talking about that today, like giving some people some sort of free math help and stuff like that. Like, I don't care. Like, I want people to be more math literate. Understand how finance works, understand how some of this stuff works. Critical thinking is important, right? So yeah, I'm trying to keep up with all these comments. Haven't posted them all, but I'm reading them all. So the Celtics are playing in 3 minutes. So I was really just trying to get to 10 o'clock, but sometimes I go over. So I'm excited about Fee's new release. I want to try to give that another spin if we can. My system has been crashing when I go to share videos, however. So I wasn't able to play our intro, and I'm not sure I'm able to play that video, but I can talk about it. So if you haven't heard Beast Over Beats, you need to check that out. So that's Fee's new track, doing big things, man. Beast Over Beats. There it is on the bottom by Fee the Evolutionist. Fee and the Evolutionist, right? But this is Fee the Evolutionist who made this track. If you ain't heard it, if you ain't hip to it, well then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you just gotta get out there and get it. It's on all platforms. Search Fee the Evolutionist, and you will find that. I was reading earlier about this Rick Ross stuff. Now let me put this out here. I'll throw this on the screen here. See if I can share this. I'm kind of a Rick Ross fan. It's like everybody has people they're a fan of that, like, sometimes for no particular reason, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm also a Khaled fan. I'm a Khaled and a Rick Ross fan. I don't mind saying. Now, Rick Ross is definitely an entertaining individual. I think he's hilarious. I think he's pretty smart. Rick Ross confirms that his upcoming 11th studio album, Richer Than I've Ever Been, is nearing completion. Now, I'm not sure about the name of that for a title. I don't know if that's inviting the right energy in your life, right? Rick Ross's upcoming album, Richer Than I've Ever Been, has been in the works for a minute now. The follow-up to his 10th studio album, Port of Miami 2, and while that project was an enjoyable blend of opulent bars and personal insights into his more vulnerable moments, some have hoped to see further innovation from hip-hop's biggest boss. Though it's unclear as to what ground Ross might be covering on his 11th go-around, it would appear that its release is coming closer than originally anticipated. Look at him. Yeah, he's just let it all hang out, bro. I hear you. I hear you. You know what I'm saying? In a recent clip, Ross provided an update on the album's status, confirming that it is nearing ever closer to its completion. When asked to give a numerical representation of Richer Than I've Ever Been's total progress, Renzel confirms that it's sitting pretty at 95%. I know that feeling. Let's get that 5% done this weekend, encourages the engineer, prompting Ross to take it one step further. Let's get that 5% done tonight. Though it's welcome to see Ross following a creative whim and hopefully nailing whatever he's got left to finish. Any clear release window has yet to be revealed. Could be October. It could be November. It might even be December. Simply put, the boss moves at his own pace, and should he decide to take his time and plot a slow-burning rollout, so be it. We'll be here eagerly anticipating whatever he got cooking. Are you excited for Richer Than I've Ever Been? Now, I haven't peeped Richer Than I've Ever Been. I haven't listened to anything on off of that. That article came out back at like beginning of October. Let's see the date. September 30th, 2020. Let me know if you're feeling Rick Ross. I find him entertaining. I saw some of his new videos. The opulence is crazy. He's slimming down again too, And Khaled, man, I can't get enough of Khaled. Khaled can do no wrong in my world. I love the dude's hustle. The fact that the dude has a whole empire of basically not doing really any kind of real. I don't know what he does. How do you quantify what he does? You know what I'm saying? Let me read what y'all. Yeah, so I gotta read some of these. Right. Life of freedom and financial risk more money so you can do what you love, but virtual reality is just that. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like if I'm gonna go do a show like at a college or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, can you come for $500?" Like, no, I can't. But you know what I'm saying? But just because it's value based marketing, right? It's value based pricing, I should say. Value based pricing. I know colleges regularly pay 10, 15 grand, right, for acts. So you can't be going for the okie doke of the $500 kind of stuff or whatever, because you can come back and say, I usually do 5. I suppose if I get 4, we could do it. You know what I mean? So that's not to say I don't like money. I certainly do. Certain things I can use, but it's like, I'm not going to kill myself to go, try to make a ton or just waste money. Right. And that's what I mean by, am I going to take $1,000 and go, I'm not desperate to turn it into 20 grand. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of these things take advantage of people the way that it's positioned. People like, yo, the answer to your dreams. And quite honestly, while I'm spreading the love on Clubhouse, which I'm always talking about, you got to really be careful on things like Clubhouse, because I just watch people, the same old people go in these same old rooms. And quite honestly, it's 3 things. It's NFTs, it's crypto, and it's religion. There's rooms in there, people just peddling fake crap, and fake cures for COVID. That's the other one, right? People that are up there like, yo, COVID conspiracies and all that stuff, and then the same people are selling junk. It's like, come on, bro, you can't see what's going on here. You know what I mean? So that's the tough part. So you got to watch out for the snake oil salesmen and saleswomen. There are quite a lot of saleswomen on Clubhouse too, but for the most part, Clubhouse is what you make it. You follow your own tribe in there, and you can definitely meet the people that you need to meet. So yeah, I'm getting ready for sales. I got it like on jump off, so I'm good. But I'm trying to watch it closer to real time, because too often, like I was just watching this morning. I was watching the rest of the game from 2 days ago because I didn't catch up to it. So, religion and COVID. Yeah, I mean, Ruby, that's where I got into at the beginning. I've been in a lot of these rooms, and I try to go into the voices reason. Here's my whole take, right? A lot of people won't say their take Like, because what it is, right? A lot of people, whatever they think in terms of religion, they don't want to say because they don't want to offend anybody. And the whole thing is, well, don't be offending then. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to be offending. Like, here's my thing. At the end of the day, I'm rooting for God. You know what I'm saying? I'm rooting for God, right? You should hashtag that. I'm rooting for God. Like, but, and this is why, love to have on flies here. We have these conversations as much as we can. I'm rooting for God, but I don't really see the hard evidence for God, right? So it's like, that's kind of how my take is when I go into the room. So I'm always like, as a person of math and science, I'm like, well, if you show me, right, what you believe to be sort of evidence, and I'm willing to roll with it. I'm ready. I'm willing to hear you out, right? But you can't do this. You can't say the evidence is in my book or my religion. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about sort of like God on the higher level, because I don't want to get into bashing anybody's religion or anything like that. Like, you believe what you believe, that's cool. As long as you ain't forcing it on me, I'm cool with it, right? I'm like, I want to hear it because it fascinates me. It's been fascinating me since I was 17 years old, going to get that job, which 18, 19, 20, 21, working at that job, reading about all these religions, right? Bible, everything, reading all that, right? Reading comparative world religion, looking at all the themes and all the similarities that they have. And I get it. I understand it. I sort of get why religion's important. I get the good that it does. I get the bad that it can do. Same as, not the same, but philosophy in a way, sort of the same thing. Philosophy, sort of the bedrock to get us thinking, maybe even going down the scientific process later, right? But not trying to say I can solve just by thinking necessarily. Maybe there's a quantifiable essence that we need in the scientific method. So big piece of the scientific method is it has to be repeatable, right? We have to observe something, come up with a proposal for what it is, i.e. the hypothesis, right? Be able to basically test it and predict what we think is going to happen, and then see if it did happen. And if it didn't, go, crap, what did I do wrong? Let me go try it again, right? Go back up to the top, make a different proposal, see if that happens, if it's, verifiable or falsifiable, right? Falsifiable. And then we see, okay, and then we can repeat that process, and then we say, okay, this seems to be something we do. And so I will always say, okay, in your line of thinking, whether it's religion or anything else, what is the verifiable, repeatable process kind of piece that, the scientific method would hold us to? And I get where people will come out and they'll say, well, this is different, it's faith. That's cool, but that's not going to convince people to jump on the other side who are of the idea that it has only been science, math, and you can start with philosophy if you want, that has gotten us to places of where we have evidence for something that is repeatable and verifiable, right? That you'd be willing to bet something on. Now, a lot of people will bet on whatever their quote unquote belief is, but what I'll get into these rooms a lot of time, and I'll say, well, let's take the word belief out of it. What can you show and demonstrate? And if you can't show and demonstrate it, you can't get mad at someone else for not jumping into your line of thinking, right? Especially for those of us, put myself in that category, who have been sort of trained in the sort of hard sciences, right? And I wasn't always trained in the hard sciences. And until I started reading more and more and, building up sort of on my science side, I was watching the parallel of, like, I need to be convinced a lot more of things that I don't understand. But again, I'm rooting for the big guy. I'm rooting for him, right? Big guy, the big gal, the big whoever, the big enchilada. I'm rooting. I want to believe. You know what I'm saying? It's like I want to. I show my son Iron Man. I show him the real like jetpacks that are out there, right? People got jetpacks and they're like, yo, they work. I'm rooting for Iron Man too. Like, I want Iron Man to be real. I want someone to be able to come out with Spider-Man and have web shooters. By the way, they do have some of those out now, toys that are real good. Like, they actually shoot, not really toys, but we got prosthetic limbs out there that can do, like, they look like superhero kind of stuff, things they can do. It's crazy. We got all kinds of things. We got invisibility is actually real, right? We have invisible cloaking devices that actually work, right? So like when you're watching Wonder Woman's jet, that's real. We have that. Like, it's crazy. If you're not up on the science, you might look at it and go, yo, there's a very thin line between what we call magic and science. And typically, and as my son will say to me often, daddy, magic is just science we don't understand yet, right? Or it's not real, right? It's either not real, someone's fooling you, or it's just science we don't understand. And, we have invisibility cloaks. I'm rooting for all that cool stuff. I go to all the superhero shows, right? People say even like Jesus Christ Superstar, right? Like almost like a superhero. I'm rooting for the superhero all the time. Trust me. I got no skin in the game either way. Like I'm not like, you see people get in, you see atheists get in there, like bashing people and all this, like, you idiots, ha ha ha. And it's like, bro, you're not really bringing anyone over to your line of thinking. Like, why are you rooting so much against it? Like, I get it if you firmly think like the probability is very low. I can get that. I can roll with that. I understand. Yeah, and it doesn't clarify or make anything easier. If there is a big man, how did the big man come in to be, right? You still have this loop kind of thinking, turtles all the way down kind of stuff. So yeah. So that's the kind of stuff we talk about on there. We try to do it respectfully, And so we wanted Fly to be able to. Fly's life is going crazy for Fly. He's got it all coming together. I was hoping he could jump in, but there was no pressure, no harm, no foul for anyone tonight. This is sort of our day after, and I wanted to get back into 10 o'clock. But those are the kind of things we're talking about. We're gonna do a real show on that. We got a musical guest coming through next week. Shout out to some of my people out there that I gotta shout. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna go down the whole list, but I definitely want to make sure that we have music well represented for all the stuff that we got coming up. Trying to get more and more people's music on. We sort of, if we were gonna do a New Year's resolution, which I'm not really a big New Year's resolution person, but if I was going to do one, it would definitely be to be more active in terms of thinking about real lineups for like a whole month at a time for people that we do want on. Because there's a lot of people that we do want to have on and people we've been communicating with. Some really great guests going outside of just the realm of like who we're rolling with that week. And really trying to make it more organized and following up on a lot of the messages that we have and actually putting some time and thought into who we have come through. So I'm looking forward. We got a independent hip hop artist coming through next week whose record is being worked right now. Our record, by the way, is number 4. So shout out to Final Fire, ProQuo. If you haven't checked it out, it's number 4 on the Rap Attack Lives charts, which is one of the more cool charts because it's a long time chart. And for those of you who are artists and are trying to figure out ways to get your music worked out there, there's a lot of charts these days. It's kind of like when the majors break up, right? Then a lot of little art kind of charts come into play. Some of the big ones like CMJ and Insomnia, whatever, those aren't the ones anymore. So there's like lots of little ones that are actually Insomnia. Maybe I gotta look into it if Insomnia is still out there, but CMJ is definitely not. That was sort of like the Bible for the day, and so it's not out there right now. So if you're thinking about like where to get your records worked, meaning that there are people who will, if they like your record, they will harass DJs to play it. It's almost like a publicist for your song, right? But it's like physically working the record or the MP3 or what have you. And there's a handful of people who are reputable to do that. There's more than a handful. There's probably like 2 handfuls of people, but they all talk to each other. They all know each other, and they all have their sort of niche. And if you had an unlimited budget, you work all of them at the same time. But just to work a record, you're talking $500 to $1,000 to have somebody take control of that record, promote that record, call people, make sure they're spinning it, tracking how often it's getting played, charting them, and having their DJs report to them every week. They do calls with DJs, calls with fans, calls with people in the industry, and it all helps to get your record played. And it has a little effect on streams and video viewings. I watched our video viewings go up to about 9,000 on Final Fire, and that's without any real, kind of promoting and marketing that a major artist would do, or even an independent. Even though we're with Sony Orchard, we decided with that record that we weren't going to use the Sony budget. So we may on future records offer the album, but we didn't do it with that one. And we kind of compare and contrast and see like what can we do totally organically versus when we have a song to promote. And I love Dive In It. Probably going to play that on the outro. Dive In It for me is so crazy, especially if you like superheroes. The way the beat drops in that track. I mean, there's so many tracks, quite honestly, on the Instant Brotherhood. I know I'm biased, but there's so many tracks on there that you could really roll with. But for me, Dive In It the way it comes in, the way it's set up, the way Quo mixed it is just crazy. I was really, really hard on him about that mix. I had him do like 10 different versions, and probably 20 to be honest, and just to get it just right. And the way Hendo comes in on that track, the way the beat drops, the juxtaposition of Jay's slower flow with his faster flow, and then I come right after him with an even faster flow. It just really, really works. And so that's one that we're gonna try to work, as well as the Freedom Corner record. And I've been playing the Grandma Stories quite a lot in a lot of these rooms, and that's a powerful record as well, and that's real personal to us. So yeah, so I'm gonna run Dive In It right here. If y'all haven't heard it in a while, check out our album. If you want the link, I'm gonna put it right in here. So tinyurl.com ProLyrical is actually a link that I had made for it just because it was easy for me to remember, and I hadn't used that before. So that link that I just stuck out there, right there, I got to do the HTTP thing, but you can remember, right? tinyurl.com/ProLyrical. That will take you to the full album, whether it's on Spotify, sort of the auto-generated one, or the YouTube, or, when I say Spotify, excuse me, there's that too, but there's also SoundCloud. Is what I meant. So I was just on there the other day. I was like, oh, forgot about the auto-generated SoundCloud. That's kind of a good place to play stuff from. So, except I didn't even know it was there for the longest time. So now I do, and now I'm playing it. But I'm going to play it from our little inside band lab, which is where I like to play stuff from because I like the sound quality of it. I know it doesn't always sound perfect how I hear it, but it sounds good in my headphones, so I hope it does in yours. This is Dive In It. Peace, y'all. Thanks for coming through. And we're going to leave you with Dive In It. That is featuring Hendo, and Pro and Quo. And before I do, because sometimes I don't have anyone to remind me right now, I got to make sure the sound is on. There it is. We out.
My mind and my spirit are really divine, and I'm fearless. I'm coming out live and they cheering. I ride with my peers. If you try to disguise your appearance, I never will try to come near it.
Woo!
My mind and my spirit are really divine, and I'm fearless. I'm coming out live and they cheering. I ride with my peers. If you try to disguise your appearance, I never will try to come near it. My mind and my spirit are really divine, and I'm fearless. I'm coming out live and they cheering. I ride with my peers. If you try to disguise your appearance, I never will try to come near it.
I got that double-edged sword. Ancestor talk, archangels at doors. Ghost in the dark, soul channels dial fours. Before rap, I had my mind on Forbes. Pen and pad throwbacks, fires in the Fords. Better friends with more laps. Run you off course, might be slipping off the frost. Hillside, we the source. Michael with me, that's some OB type force. Tribal with my homies, got X, no cross. Valuable, you gotta know me. Liable to sink the rollie. Half of me is never holy. The animal is out, instinct still control me. Want the handle on the pout, heads and tails on the pony. Is the hammer coming out? Hanging trophies in the house, playing oldies, checking routes, holding rosies in my mouth. No EBTs for groceries, man, and cheeses for the mouse. The example for my C's, soul provider for my spouse. Spiritual physique, diamonds all over my scouts. Give you 1,000 degrees, build the art, flip the drought.
My mind and my spirit are really divine, and I'm fearless. I'm coming out live and they cheering. I ride with my peers. If you try to disguise your appearance, I never will try to come near it. My mind and my spirit are really divine, and I'm fearless. I'm coming out live and they cheering. I ride with my peers. If you try to disguise your appearance, I never will try to come near it. I stayed in the trap with boys who was making them racks with nothing but waiting to mask. Then I separated from that, and lo and behold, everyone put a blade in my back. But I'm not tripping or looking for ways to get even. I sit and I pray for my demons, cause everyone who ever thought I would fail is looking for ways they can sneak in and lanes they can be in. And I kindly deny it from you. There's no way a snake could reside in my group. You tried to put tridents in all of my titles and moves. What were you trying to prove?
For the sake of simplicity, say I'm divinity. Body not carrying moss like I'm Trinity. Gauntlet infinity. Probably not many be thinking it proffers the perfect identity. Back to the enclave, Bruce in the back cave. You can bring a Batman down like Fenway. You can bring it back, swing swords like senseis. Everybody gotta stand, marvel at the pen game. Cavaliers, this that end game. Hit a snap out of rap that will penetrate. It will accelerate. Pick up your meditate. No one is better with these thoughts I disseminate. On the interstate, and why the beat down. When I'm in a rental on a minute that I freestyle. DC now, Oliver Queen for that green in the hoodie. You Oliver Queens.
My mind and my spirit are really divine and I'm fearless. I'm coming out live and they cheering. I ride with my peers if you try to disguise your appearance. I never will try to come near it. My mind and my spirit are really divine and I'm fearless. I'm coming out live and they cheering. I ride with my peers if you try to disguise your appearance. I never will try to come near it. My mind and my spirit are really divine and I'm fearless. I'm coming out live and they cheering. I ride with my peers if you try to disguise your appearance. I never will try to come near it. What are you trying to prove?
Ooh. You ain't touching that one right there. You ain't touching that one. What? Yeah, man. Yeah, legendary. Yo, legendary. Legendary. What you make is hard, man. Your beats are hard. Actually, your beats are smooth, to be honest with you. Your beats are pretty smooth. But you got things that bump, you got things that run, and you're on the drop of a dime. And you've been paid for movie production, my man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And by the way, I've seen the final version of that. I think you're gonna like that. Yo, I said, and by the way, what they said was crazy, but I just know what I said. I said, for the sake of simplicity, let's say I'm divinity, body not carrying moss like I'm Trinity. I was like, what? 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 The song is called Divinity. We decided to call it Dive In It, just to make, Divinity's too easy one word. We're like, let's call it Dive In It, because we're going to dive in it, right? I'm like, for the sake of simplicity, say I'm divinity, body's not carrying moss like I'm Trinity. And then the Matrix is coming out, carrying moss is Trinity. And I'm like, that it's like, I picture the body up on the cross, and I'm like, body not carrying moss like I'm Trinity. Gauntlet Infinity. Probably not many be thinking that Prof is the perfect identity, because I know you ain't thinking, but he is, right? Probably not many be thinking that Prof is the perfect identity. Back to the Enclave, Bruce in the Batcave. You can bring it back, swing swords like senseis. You can bring it back. No, actually, let me give it to you this way, right? For the sake of simplicity, Satan divinity, body not carrying moss like I'm Trinity, gauntlet infinity. Probably not many be thinking that Prof is the perfect identity. Back to the Enclave, Bruce in the Batcave. You can bring a bat land down like Fenway. You can bring a bat land down like Fenway. Fenway Park. It's on Lansdowne Street. I know you don't probably know that. You probably don't know that, Jay, but I'm letting you know, because I know you're down Mississippi, wondering where Fenway Park is, but it's Lansdowne. You can bring a bat land down like Fenway. You can bring it back like X-Cal back in the days. Swing swords like Sensei. See, that's what X-Cal does. Everybody got to stand, marvel at the pen game. Carol Danvers, this, that, end game. In a snap, write a rap that will penetrate. It will accelerate, pick up your meta rate. No one is better with these darts I disseminate. On the interstate, NY to Beantown. When I'm in a rental automatic that I freestyle. DC now. Like Oliver Queen, for that green in the hood, leave you all over Queens. Woo-hoo! For that green in the hood, leave you all over Oliver Queen is Arrow. DC now. See, I switched to DC and I live in DC now. You know what I'm saying to you? You really, you know what this really is right here? What this really is? See, what I'm being truthful about what this is right now. This is what it is.
Killer, like the loud, I'm kamikaze. Salute the chief, the click deep like astrology. Rebuke the meek.
Yeah, that was the breakdown right there. So sometimes people don't know what's in the stew. That's what's in the stew. When I'm in the stew, I'm putting that level into the stew. For the sake of simplicity, say I'm divinity, body not carrying moss like I'm Trinity, gauntlet infinity. Probably not many be thinking that Prof is the perfect identity. Back to the Enclave, Bruce in the Batcave. You can bring a bat land down like Fenway. You can bring a back swing swords like senseis. Everybody got to stand, marvel at the pen game. Carol Danvers, this, that, end game. In a snap, write a rat that will penetrate. It will accelerate, pick up your meta rate. No one is better with these darts I disseminate. On the interstate, NY to Beantown. When I'm in a rental automatic that I freestyle. DC now, Oliver Queen, for that green in the hood, leave you Oliver Queens. You're not seeing that. You're not. I mean, you might be. I hope you are, but you're probably not. All right, y'all. Take care. Peace. We out.